hands together for Elizabeth Norman! Thanks so much. Hi. How's it going? Good. I'm so glad to see you all here. This is so fun. I am from Baltimore. Has anyone here ever been there? Nice. Okay, cool. Sometimes I ask if people have ever heard of it, but I'm glad that people have been there. I am from Baltimore and I grew up there, which means that sometimes people will ask me very silly questions about Baltimore. One that I get is, Baltimore, is it like The Wire? I'm like, thank you for asking me, a person who would definitely know. Thank you so much. The Wire is an HBO show, not technically a documentary, set in Baltimore. It's about drugs, crime, crooked cops, and you're like, okay, that happens in Baltimore sometimes. It's kind of a lot of the time, but it's just one side of it, you know what I mean? There's a whole other sides to Baltimore, so many sides. Baltimore is also kind of like Step Up, or Step Up to the Streets. It's okay if you haven't seen them. I'm going to tell you about them. Those are movies. They're a series of dance films set in Baltimore. And Step Up is a movie where a young white man introduces a young white woman to hip hop. And that happens somewhere in Baltimore every day, actually. So we have so many things happening, so much going on. It's really cool. People were talking about Baltimore recently, a little while ago. They were talking about our rats. Oh yeah, that guy. We don't need to talk about him too much, but he's talking about our rats, and here's the thing. Do we have a lot of rats in Baltimore? Yes. Are they really big? Yes. Am I really proud of them? Yeah, you bet I am. They worked hard to get that big, okay? You don't wake up like that, you earn it. So these rats are out here day and night. They come out in the day, jumping in and out of trash cans, doing those reps, making those gains. We've got like CrossFit rats, basically. They're very strong. And I love it. I think that's so cool. It actually gives me a misplaced sense of confidence sometimes when I go to other cities. At first I'll be kind of intimidated, maybe a little bit nervous, and then I'll see their rats and I'll be like, no. Your rats are too small. You have no power over me, you know? I think it's like the city version of my dad could beat up your dad. It's like our rats could eat your rats. Could just swallow them whole and spaghetti their little rat tails, you know? Like, they'd be gone. Yeah. Strong rat, strong city, that's how I feel. It's actually Lunar New Year, and this year is the year of the rat, so honestly I think that's going to be good for Baltimore. I think we needed that one. I'm excited about it. I was walking in Baltimore recently, and I was like, this has been such a good walk. No one has yelled at me. Someone did yell at me. People have different ways of dealing with catcalling. There are some different kind of tactics that people use when they get catcalled. Some people think that you need to turn around and you need to be like, hey, stop yelling at people. No one likes it. Even if it's a compliment, it's scary to be yelled at. Don't yell at people. It's 2020. You always have to let people know what year it is so they know what they did was wrong. You know, like they're gonna be like, wow, 2020, a new decade, and I'm still doing this? I should really look at my choices. That doesn't usually happen, unfortunately. Me, when I get catcalled, I usually just keep walking, right? Because I don't want to get involved. And also, I often don't know who they're talking to. If I were to give a note, a little constructive feedback about catcalling, not very specific most of the time. Like people are like, hey beautiful, who's to say I'm the beautiful one? So many beautiful women out here, you know what I mean? What this man said was, hey, you got no butt. And I was like, all right, that one's for me. I'm not confused about who you're talking to. How dare I walk without a butt and think I could get away with it? Just really unleashing a reign of terror on the city of Baltimore, apparently, to mind my own business while buttless. Disgusting. It hurt my feelings, obviously, because I know I have a butt, but I don't have enough of a butt to get into an argument about it and feel confident that I'm going to win. It's the level of butt I'm working with right now. I do feel like if scientists were studying my butt, they'd be like, I'm sorry, it's within the standard deviation of butt. Statistically, we can't prove your butt exists, which means it doesn't. So the real problem in Baltimore, too many scientists walking around shouting their findings at women. And that's why I think we should shut down Johns Hopkins. I think they've gotta go. Definitely for that, they've gotta go. It's cool. Baltimore actually has a lot of cool stuff. You know, DC has most of the national things, but Baltimore has some of the runoff. We've got a couple of the national things, like DC has the National Zoo. Baltimore has the National Aquarium. And it's nice. It's beautiful. It's a jewel in the harbor. Gorgeous. I have seen a rat there before, but it is really nice. I just think it's too easy of a place to abduct a child. Just makes me nervous, you know, because any place you take kids, they're going to be excited. They're going to be running all over the place. But the aquarium doesn't have any light sources other than the fish. It's just too dark for too long. It's like, I don't even want a kid, but I can't resist a deal, you know? And it's expensive to get in there. You think I'm not going to walk out with a couple people's kids just to get my money's worth? I can't go there anymore. It's good. I started a new job recently, which is good. That's good for me, I think. You could clap if you wanted to. I'm proud of myself. Thank you. I started a new job, and it's good. It's good. I was getting harassed a lot at my old job, so I'm really glad to be working at the new job. I used to be an elementary school art teacher. I was getting harassed a lot by the children, which was sad for me. I did not like it. I had a fourth grader who kept telling me he could tell I worked out. It's like, wow, I don't even know what you think that means. I don't even know where you want this conversation to go. I want it to end right now. I had one kid who was very persistent. He was in the first grade. He kept telling me that we were going to move into a house together, which is interesting. Because on the one hand, I don't know what he thought the relationship was going to be, right? I don't know if he thought that we were going to get married, or if I was just going to be his teacher who lives in his house. But on the other hand, he was trying to provide for me more than any man I've ever dated, so I was like, I am listening. What is your pitch? How's this going to work out? What are the logistics of this? He had a better sense of time, too, than any man I've ever dated. He was like, look, I know I said this would happen by my birthday, but it might not be until I'm 12, which is twice as old as he was at that point. So it's like, wow, little guy's got a 6-year plan. Tough to find, actually. Hard to find out here. He knows where he's going to be in 6 years. Kind of cool. He also, I was the art teacher, so every time I would make a drawing or a painting to show the kids what we were working on, he was like, wow, that's really good. We're gonna hang it up in the house. I was like, stop it. Leave me alone. You can't talk to me like this. Yeah. Me personally, I was raised very religious. So for me and my dating history, that means that I did not have sex for the first time until I was 19 years old. And when I did, I had never watched any adult videos before. So that means that the only time I'd ever seen a penis was in a biology textbook. And they are very different when they're not cut in half. And I was like, wow, I'm sorry, where is your Cowper's gland? That's deference. I don't, yikes. It's tough. Yeah. I had a breakup a little while ago, which was tough. It's okay. We got back together because I'm not into personal growth. I did, but while we were apart, I did go through a little bit of personal growth. I realized that my biggest fear is being alone, which makes sense when you know the end of the story, that we got back together. My biggest fear is being alone. My second biggest fear is getting possessed by demons. So in some ways that's kind of progress, right? I feel like, being alone, demons, one of those makes a little bit more sense. At a certain point I was like, wow, getting possessed by demons would definitely be a bummer, but at least then I wouldn't have to just listen to my thoughts all the time. Might be nice to get a little company around here. You know, Beelzebub, what do you want for dinner? I'm tired of deciding. And you know, I think demonic possession has some hidden benefits that people aren't really talking about. You know, like I've always wanted to speak another language fluently. I feel like that's Rosetta Stone to the max, you know? You can talk to anybody, really. I also wanted to get more athletic. And what's more athletic than doing backflips on the ceiling? You know? I feel like I could really impress someone that way. It's good. It's good. It was good for me. I have a very supportive mom, so that was really helpful during that time period. You know, I was like, I think I'm gonna start doing a lot of face masks. She was like, go for it. I think I'm gonna try these different detoxes. Go for it, sweetie. I was like, I think I'm gonna get into crystals. And she was like, anything you want. I was like, cut me off, actually. Make me stop. I don't need to be doing all this. This is too much. She bought me a book about crystals. It was called Crystal Chakra Healing. And I was reading the introduction to the book, and the guy who wrote it was like, I had a client who was hit by a car. It was a really tough recovery. It was really hard for her. She finally recovered. She got hit by another car. And it turns out it's because her chakras were blocked. We used our crystals, unblocked her chakras. She hasn't been hit by a car since. And I was like, okay, this is not real. But crystals are cute. I do feel like on a certain level, sometimes I think crystals are kind of Pokemon for white women. You know, they've got all these different powers. They come in so many colors and they're so cute. And I want to collect them all. Guys, I've been your host. I'm going to continue being your host tonight. Right now, I'm going to bring up your first comic of the evening, and I'm super excited to do so.